Hello, and welcome back to another video. Pigeons. They're everywhere, no? Maybe it's just America, but over here they're everywhere, and I love them. Fun fact, pigeons are everywhere because of us. As we brought them around the world with us, some of the little critters got out, leaving the widespread variety of wild pigeons we have today. Wow. I love them. On livescience.com, it reports that we've had pigeons as far back as 10,000 years ago in ancient Mesopotamia and Egypt. Over time, we had less interest in eating them and began just having them as a hobby. And inevitably, as the time went on, some of these birds escaped captivity and began to just be loose in cities. But because early on we had coaxed them into living with humans, they had no discomfort in living in an urban setting, making it all so easy for them to live alongside us. And thus, we have the loose pigeons in the society that we have today. First, I have Gus. I absolutely love this little goober. He is what you think of as your typical pigeon. He kind of bumbles around, and he enjoys the simple things in life. He is, after all, a bird. He absolutely enjoys water, even at the detriment of those around him. But he's not just some dumb bird. He is an inquisitive critter, enjoying exploring and puzzle solving, and is quite good with commands and tricks. He generally does not fly too far. To be fair, he doesn't really have a good sense of direction. He has a good number of occasions where he's gotten pretty lost and he's had to be picked up by Tucky. So much for being a homing pigeon. With drawing him, I think I went a little too far with his eyes. I do want him to have big, googly eyes, but I think I need to tone it down a bit for next time. I really wanted to go for that traditional rock dove look, the most common pigeon found here in America. But I wanted to give him a little bit of a unique shape. This is why I chose to specifically make him a French mondaine, I believe they're called. A French mondaine. They just have such a strange and unique shape for a pigeon, and I absolutely adore them. Next up, I have my angry little guy, Rocky. He absolutely hates Tucky, the handler and owner of all my pigeons, as I've mentioned. He does not have much patience around the man. He does not let Tucky get near him, and he's not afraid to scratch and peck the shit out of that man's hands. He only hangs out around the others upon occasion and is often off doing his own thing. I mixed a couple types of fancy pigeons together for him. I honestly have no idea what breeds they are. I really just picked the two ones that I liked from Google. To be honest, I don't think most people will be as invested as I am in what it is when it comes to the character and world building. I do want to make the floof on his head go all the way around in the future. I kind of followed the reference a little more than I'd like to for that part of him, so I'll probably fix that later. Next up, I have my fancy fan-tailed pigeon. I don't have a name for her yet, but she was the first of Tucky's pigeons, and she is absolutely obsessed with Tucky. It's hard to find her anywhere other than by his side. Sometimes she may be off doing her own thing elsewhere, but she often prefers to be hanging out with Tucky. As time went on, she slowly introduced her kids one by one, and these are the 4 pigeons I'll be talking about real soon. She is also a mix of breeds. She's part fantail and part classic old frill pigeon. I absolutely love the markings on old frill's wings. They are just adorable, and I love they're not quite speckled, but they have this nice texture along each feather so you can see the distinctive feathers on the bird. It was a little hard figuring out the best way to draw it, but I think it came out quite well. Next, I have the oldest of my 4 children pigeons. She's the responsible one. She's often trying to round everyone else back in order and restore peace during squabbles. This was not my original design for her. I originally had her to have a far more blue tone, but I absolutely love this red-orange look. She is often at the coop and rarely leaves to fly and explore elsewhere. She often hangs out in the rafters next to her siblings. Now, she is a yellow saddle frillback pigeon. Why they called it that when it's clearly not yellow, I do not know. Maybe they're the same person who named the purple finch. I have no clue. They generally range more around a vibrant red to a reddish brown in color. Now, I don't know if you're like me, but the first thing I wanted to know looking at this thing is, can it still fly? They don't seem very aerodynamic anymore now, do they? They can fly. But it is reported that they seem to prefer to walk. Probably because it's exhausting to fly. Moving on to my second one, who is often getting in squabbles with his father, Rocky. The two cannot seem to get along for long periods of time. My second is far more warm towards Tucky compared to anyone else out of the 4 pigeons that I have that are the younger ones. He is loyal to Tucky and Tucky alone and has zero interest for most other things. He's often hanging out on Tucky's shoulder or nearby. He practically never leaves to go fly off on his own. He's mostly at the coop. He is a red domestic show flight pigeon. I wasn't really given any other specifics. It seems like when you search up images, there's a wide variety of these even, but that was the closest I could find to a specific breed for the reference image I used. Thank you, backyardpoultry.com. My third one is very, very food motivated, often fighting Gus away to keep the pile of food to himself. He doesn't really seem deterred by anyone or anything and has very similar morals and wishes as Gus. Food, simple comforts, and entertainment. He kind of minds his own business. He'll hang around the others, but he doesn't take sides like some of the others. He'll either be causing trouble or be in the rafters looking for some. There's actually a whole national club dedicated to this pigeon breed, Ghazi Medina pigeons. I love the pattern on this one's wings. Like the domestic show pigeon, it seems there's still a wide range in different types of this pigeon, but thanks again, Backyard Poultry, for the reference image and helping fuel my obsession over pigeons. I might like to own some of my own one day, and the fourth, the last, and the youngest of my pigeons, he's often hanging out near his father, Rocky. He's kinda like a small child. He's often near someone else. He's never really off on his own. And he's like his father and will often go out to fly with his dad. He's not kept in the coop that frequently. He's just my small little guy. There isn't really too much to say about him. I am so in love with the pigeon breed. He is a common bronze-winged pigeon, and I just love the subtle color on their wings. I wish I caught that more in the drawing, but I'll have plenty more time and drawings I can create of him later on to show a little more of the color in his wings. And with that, I've told you about all of my little pigeons, and I hope that I have at least given you a little bit of an interest in the common but bizarre bird. I really enjoy looking for the remnants of fancy pigeons in the wild population. I have just always loved finding the unique ones out there. But with that, I bid you adieu. I hope you liked the video, and if you did, please do consider liking and subscribing. And as always, have a good one.